So hello again. I am here today to chat with you a bit about the creative process and just advertising, marketing in general, because we're going to talk today a little bit about Chapter 1 in your textbook. Here it is, Creative Strategy. I know you all have gotten it, all $237 worth of it. It is a good book. We are going to use it. I'm hoping that you can find an affordable way to get the book. But today I want to get started with good old Chapter 1 and also bring in kind of the way of making appeals, the process for persuasive writing. So first I want to talk about just creativity in general, and I feel really bad because I don't have any funny hats or any bells today. I thought about bringing a feather boa. I don't have a good song that fits creativity today, but maybe something will come to me as we roll on through this video. But creativity, as I've mentioned several times already, is so essential to good marketing and attracting people, because we've got so many great creative minds out there nowadays making, producing, writing incredible advertising, and then there's just some out there that's pretty uninspired. So we want to be the ones creating the inspirational, really cool stuff. Creative ads need to do several things. They need to first make a relevant connection between your brand, and we talked about brands with Heather Lorendo, between your brand and the target audience. That's the basis of advertising, and creativity is linking that brand to your audience in a way that's meaningful to them, that draws them in, that gives them a reason to want to buy or use or even just click to your website, but use your product in one way or another, or make contact with your product or your business in one way or another. Also, creative advertising needs to present a selling idea, and that means a reason for you to purchase it or a reason for you to use that product. You need to give them sort of what we call a call to action, an impetus, a motivation for doing something as a result of our advertising or our marketing or a social media, whatever that might be. And the third element that is really crucial is to do something that's unexpected. Not the same old, same verbiage you've already heard, cliche, riddled material that we've already seen or heard many times, hundreds of times, but to do something or to say something that's unexpected or really different and unique. We really see that come out around the time of the Super Bowl ads. I guess everybody saves it up for that time of year, but we're coming really close to that right now. So we'll be able to experience together some of the unexpected and hopefully be producing some of the unexpected in this class and in your assignments. For instance, thinking differently about your product and maybe targeting different audiences. Your book refers to Old Spice, and I like to kid with my son about Old Spice because my dad always used it. A product that came out in the 1930s. They reimagined themselves and rebranded themselves as not just your dad's or your grandpa's Old Spice here recently, but as something to appeal to women, because they checked their research or they did their research and found that women were the people who actually bought toiletries for the most part in a family. So instead of trying to target men, they decided to target women. So they bring in a buff football player or former NFL player and put him in just a towel in the bathroom with all the abs going on and the deltoids and all the muscles rippling, and have him talk to the women very directly. Do you think that worked? Yeah. Are you kidding me? They had him on a boat and all these romantic places, on a horse, like Prince Charming riding up, and it started selling Old Spice again. So you can take something that's been around for a long time, and we'll do quite a bit of that this semester, is take a brand that's existed for quite a long time, maybe some brands that you've not even heard of. Maybe I have because I'm older, because I'm ancient, but reimagine it, rebrand it, reframe it, as we might call it in PR, and engage a whole new audience in a whole new way. That's the unexpected. How many of you all have taken persuasion with Dr. Berkeley or some of our other communication studies teachers? Because we're going to talk about persuasion in this video, and certainly I hope in some of our synchronous talks, because we are trying to persuade people, again, to use our product, to at least check out our product online, to follow our product on social media. So persuasive speech and verbiage is really important. And from the beginning of time almost, we can go all the way back to Cicero and some of the Greek philosophers, that persuasive arguments, or rhetoric as they call it, had to be based, or needed to be based, on three main things: on ethos, which is a appeal to character or to your ethics, or promoting your product or argument through ethical or character-based discussions or verbiage. Pathos is a second persuasive argument form or rhetorical form, and pathos appeals to your emotions. It makes you feel something, whether it be anger or fear or love or just warm fuzzies. It might be patriotism, that pathos appeal might, and I don't want to say pathetic appeal, but an appeal to pathos might stir up your patriotism or your love of family. I saw an advertisement about how families have changed, and it appealed to that pathos, that love of our families. Logos is the other kind of appeal, and that's to our sense of reason and to what makes sense or is practical as well as reasonable. And almost all persuasive arguments or verbiage relate to one or the other or another, maybe two of those differing kinds of appeals. So we'll be talking about that, and I'll be posting a video or two that have better examples or very exact examples of these differing kinds of appeals to help you understand those. Media, then we have to ask the question, where are we going to have that message? Through what venue are we going to promote our appeals? And maybe they're in the standard locations or media, such as print media or television media, radio media, or social media. But then there are all kinds of other unexpected places where those appeals could be located. Maybe you walk into a local park and there is a promotional piece that is shaped like a rocket, or maybe a huge bird, or maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a homeless person that is in bronze rather than a real person, but a statue in your local park. And it's to promote a homeless shelter or donating to an organization that takes care of people who are homeless. Or maybe it's promoting Reach for the Stars program, so they've got a rocket in your local park. Maybe it's on, you've certainly seen things in the subway or on buses or on automobiles or cars or vans that travel and reach their audiences through different ways. On the side of a huge building or a skyscraper, like in Times Square, where they have so many promotional images in interesting locations, maybe on a mirror somewhere in dressing rooms, or there are full promotional projects that are in bathrooms because people are sometimes bored in bathrooms. So having appeals on the back of stall doors, or there was a whole series of hockey promotions that were at urinals in men's bathrooms for hockey pucks. Enough said about that, I think. We don't have to be too flush with that one. Sorry, really bad. Humor is very important to advertising in general, and one has to be very careful about the humor. Have you seen on YouTube the pop-up videos that you have to watch, or advertisements that you have to watch before the video that you actually want to see? The one for, is it Potty Pourri, or the scented spray for bathrooms to help cover up the smells of your bathroom. And there's actually a woman on the toilet. She's cutely dressed, very properly dressed, sort of in a 50s-ish sort of Mad Men sort of way, and the stall door flies open. Is that in good taste? I don't know. We have to ask the question sometimes. Is it in good taste? Has it gone a little too far? I don't know. There's no right or wrong in those cases, but you certainly will get some pushback on it if it is in bad taste, I can assure you. Another way to reach people is through celebrity sponsorships, and we see those constantly. Peyton Manning, of course, there are lots of athletes who promote differing products. Peyton Manning's out there in a number of different advertising venues. Tim Tebow, Taylor Swift promoting differing products, Jennifer Aniston, Ellen DeGeneres for CoverGirl. So certainly celebrities promoting your products, if they're well done, can be very effective. And then, as I said, you need to ask yourself some ethical questions before you confirm or move forward with any advertising project. How far do you want to go to sell your product? There are ethical lines, and we have to address those, or we should address those. how honest are we going to be? Are we willing to be completely honest about our product? And sometimes you can have a little fun with your product. If it's a boring old product, maybe you say, well, yeah, it's boring, but, and then come up with something that will still attract people. But are we going to promote it as it really is, or are we going to kind of promote it in a way that's unrealistic and not true? It's an ethical question. Are we going to use sexual innuendo? For instance, the Hardee's ads that I groan about at home whenever I see the girl riding on the bull with the Hardee's burger so close to her glossy, plump lips. Is that ethical? Is that riding the line too closely? Sorry, had to have another pun there. How about these speeding car commercials where the cars are going so fast and they're flying, or motorcycle commercials where they're speeding? Is that an ethical thing to do? Do we want to encourage people to drive at excessive speeds because it's cool? And because this new car that's really gorgeous looking is able to travel at that speed? Do we want to do that? There's an ethical question there. Do we want to encourage patients, medical patients, to tell their doctors what medicine they should be taking? Whatever brand, there's so many, I want to call it medication commercials where we're learning all these things about new medications, or maybe medications that have been out for a while, that we're encouraged to tell our doctors about them. Is that proper? Is that the way to sell your product? I don't know. The answer to these questions and many more are in your head, are in your heart, and up to you and your team to decide, your creative team, wherever they are and whoever they are. So that's kind of the introduction to advertising and marketing and some of the things that we think about. Again, I'll have some collateral videos and images to show you as illustrations of what we're talking about. And you'll also have a couple assignments on D2L regarding this first chapter. One of them refers to an assignment on page 20. Good old number one. We're going to start with number one because you start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start, as Maria says in what movie? Extra credit to anybody who can tell me what film or play that is. But I will be posting a couple assignments on D2L, and I look forward to your feedback and what you find, and we will be discussing those things. So until we meet again, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. 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 Goodbye.